Okay, thank you. Thank you, Cristiano, for introducing me. Um, just a minute to put my presentation. This thing is not actually sitting very well. Oh. Okay, so my name is Adrian Furtuna. We are going to do a live hacking demonstration today. And we are going to talk about a case study from a real-life event that recently happened, and I'm pretty sure that you all know about it. But first of all, let me tell you 2 words about myself. I have recently founded a company called VirtualStorm Security, and we do advanced ethical hacking services. For those of you who do not know, ethical hacking or penetration testing means finding vulnerabilities in the software and IT systems of clients in order to prevent them from being hacked by the bad guys. So this is what we do. I'm also an associate professor at the Military Technical Academy of Bucharest and Polytechnica. I believe I have pretty good years of experience in this ethical hacking field. I also did some talks at security-related conferences. This is my first time at DevTalks, although, and I hope we'll have a good time together here during this presentation. Let's get down to the subject. The case study that we're going to talk about today is the Panama Papers leak. I suppose every one of you is familiar with this or heard of this case. Basically, it's the biggest document leak in history worldwide. 11.5 million documents, 2.5 terabytes of data, which have been extracted somehow from the law firm Mossack Fonseca from Panama. I suppose you all know Panama is a fiscal paradise, and everyone who wants to have an offshore company can hire this kind of firms to create shell companies. And the outcome of this leak was that a lot of high-profile personalities, including politicians, business people, and even criminals and mafia members were exposed to have offshore companies. But our purpose today is not to talk about the ethics of having an offshore company, but we will talk about how the leak was done. So this is Ramon Fonseca, the co-founder of the victim company, and he told for Bloomberg that the documents were authentic and they had been obtained illegally by hackers. So this was a hack behind this story. And how was this? How are they compromised? Being security people, we are thinking about this. I'll try to make it full screen, even though I cannot see it very well. Okay, so immediately after the news went public, the community started to investigate, and they wondered how were they compromised. And we have 2 leads until now. These are just suppositions, but there is no official answer from Mossack Fonseca. So a company called WorldFence found out that at the moment when the leak went public, the guys from Mossack Fonseca were also having vulnerable systems exposed to the internet at that time. Right now they have been patched, but at the time of when the news went public, meaning April this year, they were running WordPress for the main website and the Revolution Slider plugin. Can you tell me, just for curiosity, how many of you have ever configured and installed WordPress until now? Okay, very nice. And how many of you have ever used the Revolution Slider plugin? Okay, some of you, very good. Today you'll find some very interesting things about this plugin. Furthermore, another company called, Forbes, it's well known, they found out that a portal of these guys, portal.mosfon.com, was running Drupal version 7.2.3. How many of you have you configured and installed Drupal until now? Okay, fewer than WordPress. That's nice. You should know that this version of Drupal, which is pretty old, from 2013, is affected by a pretty nasty SQL injection vulnerability, which allows anybody from the internet to create an administrator account on your CMS. So if you run this version, you should patch now if you haven't already. What we will do today, we will try to reproduce the first hack, the first scenario with WordPress. So if we're going a little bit inside the mind of the attacker, how the attacker works, how the attack works. An unusual attack is comprised of several phases, which are rather typical. They start with the reconnaissance phase, in which the attacker tries to find all the systems of the target company which are exposed to the internet. This is a very important phase because the wider the attack surface it is, the higher is the probability to find some vulnerabilities. Okay, and after we find the list of applications and systems exposed to the internet accessible, then we go and find some vulnerabilities for them in order to exploit them and gain access to the system. After we have access, then we can start off moving laterally to other systems in the network, and our main objective is to find the important data of that company. Imagine those 11.5 million documents. They were not found on the web server, but the attacker had to pivot to other systems in the network. And further on, after we find the interesting data, we have to exfiltrate it. That means getting the data outside from the company to the attacker. Imagine how the attacker managed to exfiltrate 2.5 terabytes of data. Even the attacker was very good. Even the IT guys of the company were catastrophic. And then it follows cleaning up and covering the tracks. If we go on the first phase of the attack, the reconnaissance, I did a small reconnaissance on the Mosfon website. This is their web domain, and found a few subdomains. You can see that some of them are hosted in US and some of them are hosted in Panama. Let's suppose that the attacker concentrates on the main website of the company, www.mosfon.com. Let's try to access it and see how it looks like. Yeah, so this is the website of the Mossack Fonseca company, which is live right now. We said that we are doing some reconnaissance. The simplest thing that you can do is you can do a view page source. And in the source file, you can see some links specific to WordPress. These are VP content, themes, and so on. So it's you can easily see that this is running WordPress. Even more, you can go to VP admin. Yeah, and this is the login page from the Mossack Fonseca website right now. Okay, and now we're going to the vulnerability discovery phase, and we're wondering how the attacker managed to find those vulnerabilities. I'm not very pleased with the resolution of this, of the settings, but yeah. So, okay, we're going to the vulnerability discovery phase. How many of you know about VP scan. Okay, since almost the whole room installed WordPress, you should know about VP scan. VP scan is a WordPress security scanner. Is a very powerful tool, which is used on a day-by-day basis by hackers and also by ethical hackers to find vulnerabilities in WordPress. And it helps you to find the WordPress version, the plugin names, the versions of the plugins, the theme names, and so on. And it also includes vulnerability information for those plugins. Let's run it against. So this was the main website of Mossack Fonseca. But we will not run our attack against this website. I have created the second 2.com. I have created a copy of the main page of Mossack Fonseca, and it is hosted on my machine. Yeah. So this is also WordPress, and also the same vulnerable plugin as was installed in the breach from Mossack Fonseca. So we will run VP scan against this application. So this is a Ruby application. Do you see what is on the screen? I mean, if the font is large enough. Right now I've lost the prompt because... Okay, so you run VP scan with the parameters URL. So this should be a similar copy of the original website, and this is the output of VP scan. Let's go through it from the beginning. Okay, so VP scan detected that we have a WordPress installation. It detected the README HTML file, and he saw that we are running version 4.5.2, which is the latest version installed by myself. It identified also a theme, which is also the latest version, and also identified a plugin, exactly RevSlider. And he says that we could not determine the version, so all vulnerabilities are printed out. But there is a small problem. There is directory listing enabled on this directory. So this is the directory where the RevSlider plugin is installed. So let's go at this location. Okay, and we find the directories and the files of the exact plugin. So in order to find the version that we're running, we go to the release log file, and we see that the installed version is 2.3.8. In Mossack Fonseca was 2.1.7, and the latest version is 4 and something. Okay, so now going down to the vulnerabilities, VP scan tells us that this plugin may be affected by these two vulnerabilities. So a local file disclosure, this means exactly that you can download any file from the web server. And shell upload vulnerability, this means that you can upload to the server. Furthermore, we have links to the actual exploits that can be used to exploit these vulnerabilities. Have you ever used this website? Just a minute. God damn it. Okay. Who has ever used this website, exploitdatabase.com? Okay, nice. You should do more of you. This is a collection of exploits which are pretty well tested and can be downloaded and used for attacks or for tests. So we can see that this actual vulnerability, the arbitrary file download, can be accessed via this kind of URL. This is actually, maybe you can see it better. So in order to download the file, you should go to an URL such as this one with the parameter img and the name of the file. And the plugin will try to display it as an image, but it does not check if the actual file is an image or not, and you can actually view any file. So let's test this on our application. Okay, so we see that it tries to save a file. It's not at admin Ajax, but you can see that it's the actual configuration file of WordPress. Yeah, you can also see the credentials of connection to the database and so on. Furthermore, you can also download some more interesting files. For instance, etc password. Okay, go on. Yeah, so this is the etc password file download via this exploit. Okay, so as you can see here, all Revolution Slider plugins which have the version less than 4.1.4 are vulnerable to this vulnerability, are affected by this vulnerability. But in the Mossack Fonseca case, they have used the upload shell vulnerability, which is which has another exploit on ExploitDB. I have downloaded it. I have downloaded it here. It's a Perl file, which we'll see what it does. So it's a Perl file. Let's run it, and it needs the URL. And the vulnerable application. Okay, so you can see that it ran pretty quickly. It says send payload successfully executed, checking if shell was uploaded, shell successfully uploaded, and it gives me a command prompt on the server. If we do who am I, we can see that we're executing commands with the rights of the web server process. Okay, and we are in this current directory. Check it because it's important. So we are in the plugins rev slider temp update extract rev slider, and if we do an ls, we see the shell, the web shell installed here. And what does it do? It actually does a system of parameter received in the URL. Okay. We can go also to check it on the rev slider directory. We go into temp update extract rev slider cmd.php. So this is the web shell uploaded. And the vulnerability here was that the Web Slider plugin has this update functionality, but the update functionality does not require authentication. So anybody can trigger this update functionality and provide WebSlider with a zip file called webslider.zip, and he will happily unzip it and extract it to a temp directory. So you can find it there, and you can put any type of file there. So this is a command shell. Another thing that I want to really show you, maybe you're wondering how widespread this vulnerability is in the wild. I was surprised to find out that, for instance, if I'm starting right now, in an hour from now, I think I can get around 500 compromised web servers via only this vulnerability. And how are we going to find it? Via this Google hacking trick, which does exactly so in title index of returns the pages that have directory listing enabled. So we can see and we select pages which have Rev Slider inside, and we also select sites from Romania. Okay, and I saw some interesting ones. For instance, swissmedicalcenter.ro. And if we go to the release log, it's 412. It's vulnerable to that file download vulnerability. Also, if we go to this website, Bej, do you know what it comes from? Birou Executiv Judecătoresc. Release log 404, so also vulnerable to file upload, to file download. But there are many, and I tell you really many, vulnerable also to the file upload and to file download vulnerability. So I see that my time is up. I'm going to wrap up very quickly with some lessons learned from this case study. So which were the vulnerabilities actually exploited in this scenario? First of all, the plugins were not updated. Even though the main WordPress installation was at the latest version, if the plugins are not updated, you are still vulnerable. So this is from the point of view of the IT administrators or the system administrators who installed WordPress. And from the point of view of the developers, you can see that there is an authentication and authorization missing, a check from the plugins, and also directory listing. And I think I'm pretty safe to say that they did not ever do a security assessment on their infrastructure exposed to the internet. Even the simplest tests and scans would have found these vulnerabilities, and maybe they would have prevented this, this historic hack. So thank you for your patience. I don't think we have time for question and answers, but I'll be around the whole day. Just grab me a beer and I will answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Grab his mic.